Am I the a-hole for inviting my parents to my house after they didn't respond to my fiancee's medical emergency? My fiancée, Ellie31F, is the type of person that calls people 2 or 3 times in a row when she wants to get a hold of them for anything. The first time she did this to my parents, we were driving to a concert and I asked her to call my folks from my phone. She called, but they didn't pick up. She started calling my mom again right away and I asked what she was doing. My mom picked up right away. Worry. Ellie asked our question. I told mom false alarm, hung up. She asked why my mom had been irritated and I explained to her that in my family, we only call twice in a row if it's an emergency. Ellie has never followed this and will always call them repeatedly for the most mundane stuff. If one doesn't answer, she sometimes call my other parents. All that to say, a couple of weeks ago she broke her leg while working around the house. I was in a workshop for work that day and could only check my phone on breaks. She called my parents since they live a couple streets over, but neither answered their phones. She wound up having to call an ambulance. I got her message about 2 hours after she fell and went to the hospital. She was pretty mad at my parents when I got there. I let them know what happened and they also rushed to the hospital to apologize and check on her. She didn't want them coming in, so they sat outside for a bit, got her flowers from the gift shop and eventually went home. I took some time off work to take care of her and my parents have been offering help as they could. Her sister drove in to help so I could go back to work. Last night, I decided to make a nicer dinner than usual and wanted to invite my parents. I gave her a heads up I was inviting them and asked if she wanted me to rearrange some of the chairs and tables so we can all eat together. She got mad. I wanted to invite them and of the mind I shouldn't be wanting to speak with them after they ignored her. Her sister agrees with her and feels I'm putting my parents over my soon-to-be wife. Up until this point, I haven't said anything to her about the situation, but I did then and told her it was a massive F-up in communication on everyone's part and time we all talk it out to put behind us. Neither she nor her sister think she should stop being mad at them. Was I an a-hole to invite my parents over? Asked info. My parents were sitting outside for their quiet time when she called. It's not unusual for them to not answer calls, texts and wait to return them later, and they do that. I myself had to do the 2 calls routine so they knew it was urgent.
Here are the top comments, plus Opie's reply.
Info. How many calls did Ellie make to your parents before calling the ambulance? More than the usual multiple calls? Did she at any point text them to say it was truly an emergency? Not the a-hole. Ellie made the usual number of calls that she does for any occasion and didn't text to let them know this was actually an emergency. OP certainly does not need to cut his parents off over this.
OP replied,
3 times from my mom, then 2 times from my dad, which, subtly, is normal for her. She didn't send them a text.
Info. Is there any reason she couldn't text rather than ring? A lot more informative than just another missed call.
OP replied,
She's a call-first person and, unfortunately, there are times her repeat calls are followed with texts.